right, that's on the rubric. Wrong model, it's automatic off, okay? I know everybody can do this, so put your mind to getting it done. This one. Wrong model, it's also full points off. You just have to pay attention. It's a volume model. What's happening is you're taking this box and you're folding it up. Like it's one of those shirt boxes that you wrap up for Christmas that you buy from the dollar shop. And then you put stuff in it and fold it up. That's all it is. What's different about this box is this blue area inside. Can you tell me where that blue area inside is in relation to the figure that's not been folded? Where's that blue? Odie, where's this blue area right here? Where is it in relation to the top? Take a guess. Sure you do. Well, don't look at the color. See this blue, dark blue shaded area in here? Where is it in relation to on the top before you do the folding? That's right, it's right there, right? This blue, dark blue part is right there. So the length and the width of the box inside here is this inside part right here. You see this, Anna? Right, so that's your length and the width are going to come from that. And your height is easy because when you do the folding, it's going to have height x here. So this part will be x. Let's see. So the height will be x. But this blue part inside here, Odie, this is what I was talking about. This part inside here, you tell me you can't see it? Do you see that this part is the same as this part right here? See it? All right. So that's how you get your length and your width. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you that same question I just asked Odie to put it on the test. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say, show me where this part is on here. Show me where the length and the width come from. Because I know all of you can do that. You just have to slow down. You have plenty of time. The other class I just gave the PreCalc test to, they didn't have time. You have time. So you have time to think about this. Cassandra, you can do this, right? So I need the length and the width of this portion here. Well, the length part is easy, or the width part is easy, however you want to look at it, because I'm taking 24s all the way down and I'm cutting out x's from it. Oops. So the length is easy. Do you agree with that? Because all I've done is take that strip that was 24 and I cut 2 x's out of it. An x to the right and left. But this part is a little tricky. And I don't remember who showed me this. But I also kind of went and looked, what the? Because somebody showed it to me and said, I got the wrong answer on WebAssign. And I said, I don't know why you got the wrong answer. I think you did everything right. We were texting back and forth. And then they had sent me a screenshot of the picture. And I started looking at that picture thinking, where did I go wrong? I don't see it. That's when I realized you really have to think about this part. All the way across is 48. I don't know here, and I don't know here. But I do know that this part here and this part here must be the same, or else the box won't lay out right. Right? The lid won't be right. So I did one of these. I said, okay, I don't know this. My son hates when I do this. I put another letter there. I don't know this, but I'm going to call it Y. Y? I don't know. I'm just going to call it Y. But all the way across is 48. So I know that here I have an X, here I have an X, here I have an X. And I know that I have 3 X's and 2 Y's. And they have to add up to 48. And that should make total logical sense. Does it? All right. So now what's the piece I need? I need it to be Y. That's the width. So I'm going to use this and solve for Y. And this is Math 100 stuff that you guys like. The only thing is to beware and make it easy on yourself. When you divide by 2, divide each term by 2 because the math becomes a little bit easier to plug in. So you have now the width. Now I have the whole formula. length times width times height. 24 minus 2x times minus 3/2 x plus 24 times x. That's the volume. And they tell you that that volume has to be 700 cubic inches, so you set it equal to 700. Well, I asked you to mark the roots. So let me show you what to do next. Oh, I didn't graph it for you. I thought I did. Okay, so you have to graph it. I asked you to graphically find the roots. So let me graphically do it on a... You can actually plug this in on your calculator right now and look at it and make sure you know what it looks like. Okay, it's minus 3/2 times So what you're going to put on your calculator is this thing right here. And the graph that I get after I zoom in, because I really want the roots, is going to look like and this number right here is close to 8.347. This other number here is 1.5. They tell you up at the top that the height has to be at least 6 inches. It doesn't matter. I don't care about that. Some people do, but I don't care about that. If you go look at the top, it says 6 inches high, so the height has to be at least 6 inches high. Well, then it can't be this one. It's got to be this one. Good? It's not that bad. The things I saw was wrong model. And wrong model is like, I'm just going to make up something that we did something like before. I don't think that's showing me that you really know anything. I mean, I don't want to test you on something that you don't think doesn't make any sense. So if you got the wrong model and you just use something that you think might be right by I'm just going to take some x's here and then put some stuff here and then put some stuff here, I'm just going to take the full thing off. It's just not worth it. I didn't do it for this test, but on the exam 3 I will. Hey, I've done it before. That's why I know what it's like. I've done that before. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to Picasso an X here and then put this here and then pray and then hope that it works out. Done it. I own that. You guys can't do that. Okay, this one. The main problem I saw in this one is people adjusted their windows here with X-mins and Y-mins and Y-maxes, and then the graph that they drew in the next part didn't match what they had here. So you got to have the X-min and X-max actually match what you're drawing on the graph. And the graph was not numerically labeled. I need to see the numbers on it so that it matches up what I think it should. So if you made a bunch of hash marks with no numbers, I did take the points off because I think it says if the graph does not provide the matched windows or if it's non-numerically labeled either on the X or Y, I'm going to take the points off because the whole purpose of this problem is to learn how to do the graphing. We're skipping all the sections on graphing because I'm hoping that you do 2 things with one. You're able to take the graph with your calculator and actually use it, and that you learn in tandem while doing the algebra what you're doing. So that's my hope, and that I'm hoping that's okay, because I do see the other pre-calc teachers doing the graphs separately from and they're not using the calculator. So they're doing all the graphs, shifting graphs and all that stuff, domain and range, they're doing all of that. We're not doing that, we're just looking at the calculator, and I'm hoping you're gonna learn by looking at the calculator. Don't make me wrong. So when you draw the default graph, it looks something like this on your calculator. So I use the version of the online calculator that if you graph it, you just can't see any of the roots because the roots are in an area that it's just, you can't see them. So what you want to do is you want to make your x windows smaller. You want to take your x's and squeeze them down to maybe -3 to 4, something like that. And then your y's, you want to only look at the part where it crosses the x-axis. So you want to make your y min and max also small. I don't remember what I chose. That's I chose my x min and x max to be -3 to 4, and I chose my y min and y max to be a -1 to 1. And I blew the whole thing up so I could see the roots. And that's what I got to see. When you draw the picture down on bottom and you say that those are your x mins and x maxes and y mins, I got to see this picture. And then I can see, well, it crosses right at I can see it. X equals 0. There's one number in between 0 and 1. I don't know really what it is, but I bet if you take your tracer, you can see where it is. And there's 1 at 3. So I know all the roots just by looking at this picture. Clear? Okay, the next part is to use synthetic division to do the roots. And I've done that example before in class. I don't think anybody had problems with it except with the FOIL. Should I leave that one off to get you out of here faster? No. You want to do it? Okay. Let me write this down. Actually, I just grab it off of one of your exams. Do you have any questions as I'm going through? I mean, I don't know what you're going through when you're typing things or not seeing it. All's good? All right, so how do you do the synthetic division? So I know that one of the roots, because I saw it from the thing, that one of them is -2, for example. You could have chosen 3, you could have chosen the other ones, but I'm just going to take the -2 because that's the first one I saw it crossing. And I take the original polynomial, which is 4x to the 5th minus 5x to the 4th minus 23x cubed plus 6x squared. And I factor out an x squared first. I'm missing something. 23x squared. Oh yeah, 23x plus 6. And the part I'm interested in is this part right here. So I line that up. The coefficients of that part right there, I'd line them up. 4 minus 5 minus 23 and 6. And I put the -2 up in the little box. You could have chosen the 3 too. Remember it crossed at 3? Some students did it using the 3 and some students did it using the -2, and it turns out to be the same. And then you do the old synthetic division algorithm. The 4 comes down. 4 times -2 is -8. Get -13. 26. 3. You're always praying this works out. Get 0. When you don't get the 0, your heart kind of goes up. All right, so now we have this. What you have here is you started out with an x cubed. So now this is the coefficient of the x squared. I'm going to put it in a different color. It gives you the formula of what's left. So what you have now is you have the original x squared still pulled out, and this part right here. And you're looking for when that thing is equal to 0. So the last part you can FOIL. You don't have to. If you like synthetic division, you can keep going and do another synthetic division on what's left. But I've got this piece I've got to factor. Oh, I left one piece out. I also have this x minus the minus 2. I forgot that guy. Right, the guy that was up in the jury box. It goes over here too. And you're looking for where this whole thing is equal to 0. So this part right here I still need to FOIL, or backward FOIL. I'm just guessing, because I've done a million of these. Right? When you do a lot of them, you just get the feel of them. Right? The first two have to multiply up to be 4x squared, and it does. And the last two have to multiply up to be 3, and it does. So I chose to break up my 4 into 4 and 1, and the 3 into 3 and 1. And I chose it this way because I can already see that the outer is 12, and the inner is 1. 12 plus 1 is 13. I have a negative 13 here, so I need minus signs in both of these sections. And if you FOIL it forward, you'll realize I get exactly, see, first 2 gives me 4x squared, outer 2 is minus 12, inner 2 is minus 1. If I add the outer and the inner, I get minus 13. Last 2 gives me 3. So I'm only just doing backwards from FOIL. Whatever trick they told you, that's what you were doing. Okay, now I'm ready to solve the whole thing. Set out all the pieces equal to 0. You get x equals 0, x equals 1/4, x equals 3, and x equals minus 2. And if you recall, there was a crossing between 0 and 1 right at the beginning when we drew the graph. And that's the 1/4. I've got the exact answer now. Doable for everybody? Really, actually, you know what surprised me? Is some of you guys didn't get the body temperature problem right, and that one I think was easier than this one, which has synthetic division and this and that, and you have to get it, and this one more people got this one right. Okay, any questions on it?